We're called to cloud. Okay, I'm just going to say by heart, just the hemshech of the mind where we are right now. The last time we recorded. And that is I'm going to have to ask you to mute. Hang on, I can do this. I can mute you. You can mute yourself. Yeah, I don't think you are. You are. No, you're not. I can do it. Oh, you are. You are. Okay. So the hemshech and yonim is that Kriyas Yamsuf, hemshech to Yitzias Mitzrayim. So this was all in a way of a gila b'derech malamayla lamata, because the mata was not refined. That's why they didn't have to flee. But Lasit Lovai, so he brings, that'll be to Aved of Tshuva. And he says that's the double the shyness of the Geula of the La'asid, even though he said earlier that there was Tshuva. I mean, he said, it seems like he's saying now, I don't know if this is 100% true, correct, that the Pirush that he gave in the Dalat L'Shaynis of Tshuva, by Tzeischo, Rabbi, and so on, that's all the Geula of the La'asid. Didn't apply so much by Yitzias Mitzrayim, didn't apply at all, in fact. Because by Yitzias Mitzrayim was Kibarach Ha'om. Maybe she just came and took them out. For the future redemptions, these four L'Shaynis allude to the Tshuva. They allude to the mandate of... Okay, sorry. It should work now. Okay. So he types out the whole medrash over here. What does it mean? The first two words are understood. It's an achtono, you forsook us, abandoned. Now the first time he quotes the pasuk, the Zafton is missing. Okay, you abandoned, you forsook us, you breached us. A breach, like Rashi explains, like a city that's open to all four directions, from war to war. You were angry, but so till now you were angry. But from now on, we're saying, be tranquil with us and peaceful and reconciled, and then we'll thank you. Then we'll thank you that you're angry with us. So this is the tikkun, this is tshuva. So from all of this, we see that the goal, final goal, comes to tshuva. Whereas Yitzias Mitzrayim was Gili Milamayla. We have to understand, however, the question is that Yitzias Mitzrayim was also tshuva. The Dalet Kittas there, one of them by Kriyas Yamsuf said, let's go back. But then they obviously did teshuva because they waited in. He brings here the medrash that everybody did. And the sea didn't split until it was about to enter their nostrils. So it comes out that this was tshuva. That was the tshuva for having said, given up and going back to Mitzrayim. Moreover, he brings up, with this, we'll understand something else. That the interesting medrash that says that Kriyas Yamsuf happened b'schus of Yaakov. Now, they should told Yaakov before that, so you should spread out Yoma, west, east, north, and south. So says the medrash, it seems noting the order is not the same as it appears earlier in Bereshis, where west is last, and here it's first. So the medrash teaches Yoma as in a sea. So the medrash teaches that they should told Yaakov, "Uparatz Yoma, you will split the sea." For Kedma, that there's nothing before the medrash, through the east wind, Tzafoina in front of Baal Tzafoin, that Avodah Zarah, and Vanegba, Negev, the sea will become dry. Negba south as in Negev. The south is dry, that's what's called Negba. So that's the medrash's taich. It's beautiful taich, but the question is, what's the connection to Kriyas Yamsuf? What's Yaakov got to do with Kriyas Yamsuf? We have the answer in light of all of the above, because Kriyas Yamsuf happened as again through the Ruach Kodim. So this east wind, but Kodim also means Kedem, meaning in order that Hafach Yom Layabosha, that the hidden worlds be revealed within the revealed, our tangible world, you need a transcendent level, the level of Yaakov, that is Oilet or Pnimis HaKeser, Schusa Shel Yaakov, Moishe Rabbeinu, all that nuance. That's all required in order to effect Kriyas Yamsuf. Now that itself, he's the Ikar. That itself, you listen to Tshuva. The Eibishter responds in kind. So Yidden going be what's Tshuva? Going beyond their own system. So this breaking the mold. So the Eibishter responds in kind. So there was all to underscore the question that there was Tshuva by Kriyas Yamsuf. And putting the two together, walking in there, ready to be drowned. Eibishter said to go and just keep on going. It could be a greater going beyond limits than that. Kept on walking. It passed even the mouth. Still nothing happened. It closed the mouth. It was about to go into the nostril, then it opened. So this is emes tshuva. So what are we saying? That if there's no tshuva, that the chiddush of blessed love is tshuva? And furthermore, he says to point out how Yitzias Mitzrayim, there's the need of tshuva, is also explains an oddity, a strange thing about the kaira. The placement of the items on the kaira. We put the morer in the middle. Morer is gevura, bitterness. You think it'd be on the left side. That Yisrael explains there that all of the placement of all of the inyonim on the kaira, all according to the spheres. So why is the morer in the center? And the answer is because morer is the bitterness of tshuva, and the bitterness of tshuva elicits rachamim, the highest compassion. Yaakov, the highest giluim from above. So what do we see? That the kaira, which represents Yitzias Mitzrayim, right there in the kaira, there's tshuva. That's the morer, which reaches the highest levels. Why it's put in the center? It's Mo'er Rachmim Rabim. And so this, and just to connect it to the earlier medrash brought at the end of the previous ice, and this is the connection that to Yaakov, Paratz the Yom of a Kedma. One of the Golus, Avedis, as Hashem says, you forsook me. And one of the things that, as a result of that, is Paratz Tono. You breached us. Here is the tshuva of Faratzta. This is the positive breaching of boundaries. The virtue is going beyond limits. That is Mamshech, the Ruach Kodim, and Kriyas Yamsuf. So it's all to say that there is tshuva, there was tshuva. So why are we saying, yeah, we're clear? Why are we saying that the Chiddush of Laslavi is tshuva? That's what we're up to pretty much. So up to Achi Inyan who on page Kufman Zayin. We started it. But we didn't get very far, so let's continue now. Yeah. As the law said, however, the final splitting of the river however will be much higher than Kriyas Yamsuf. Given sin, because the tshuva that will precipitate the final geula, which is the tshuva of our generation, is higher than Kriyas Yamsuf. How could that be? They went into the nostrils and all the. They call us tshuva. So tshuva in general, even though the Zohar says it's with greater force, greater koyach, then avidus tzadikim shalamayim magabola higher than limits. Nonetheless, it's possible that it's higher than limits, but still, there's still a seder v'adroga, there's still an order to it. In fact, outlined in these four Lashonos. First is the lower tshuva, and then the higher tshuva. Tshuva ilah is the koiche working with the conscious koiches. Tshuva ilah is like a higher level of tshuva ilah. In Yonah Gila koiches atzmi. Even though we learned before, what did we say that in tshuva ilah? The two Eifanim is Bina, right? And then he said the Shadish of Bina. At any rate, it all points to the Koiches. He said, Chayin Yichid, said before. And here's the point, to unlock the Etzem on the Shamba, that's a gift from above. And it comes as a result of extending ourselves to the degree that we can. Harving, working in the conscious Avedis of Tzeischo and Midas and Moishe, which is the same as Leisas. So working to that degree, so that's Moishe, the Keiches Atzmi. Page Kufnun Zayin, yeah. Kufnun Zayin. There's two more in there. So there's a Seder, you say. The point is that there's a roadmap. And Shuva has to affect a person, its conscious, his behavior, Seichel and Midas, till his very body. All to say that the Seder of Shuva is that Shuva is still, there can be Shuva, it's true to Shuva, but it's still not the true Blikvul. There's a Seder to it. There's an order. It starts with a conscious Keiches, and the Rebbe responds, and then the deeper levels of the Neshama are stirred. Now, he's going to challenge that. But even though we find that there's also examples of Tshuva that completely bypass an orderly system, a template, a roadmap. It's true Blikvul. Like a Balaz about the Tzeischo, the Pchia, that when she told him that no one's going to accept you, so he cried from the depth of him, and he put his head between his knees, right? And he called out, and his neshama left, and he was about Tshuva Lagamri. So what happened over there? His Tshuva came from such a deep place that it filled his conscious faculties of Seichel and Midas. Midas called good they say him, but it filled the limits, it overflowed. The top, Gedud is the top, the rim. It filled him to the rim, and his soul expired. And this is the deep, the crying, the weeping. A person cries and he can't contain the emotions. It bursts out in tears, literally like a cup. It flows over, the tears come. So this was a tshuva he's asking that was not page Kufnun Zayin, yeah? Yeah, whatever, you'll get the flow of it as we wrap it up. So he's saying that this was a tshuva. Rabbi about the die was a tshuva that's completely Blikvul, hide in the system. That's what we said before. That's true tshuva. We do a gamsi, but there's also a story in the Alter Rebbe. Someone came to him and he needed a tikkun for Haley because he had been in a forbidden relationship and they were children. Mamzerim, they were born, or Mamzer, one child, I don't know if it was more than one. This is irreconcilable. He says in Tanya, he brings from the Gemara that once this happens, it can't be fixed because the clip is already being this lavish in a guf gashmi lamata. So the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, this kind of tshuva can only be fixed lasid lovai. Mashiach will come, and Hashem will remove the impurity, right, from the world. And yet there's a story. Yafal begins boring chassidus. Kasher Rabbeinu, Kishkel Rabbeinu Zokares tshuva Rabbi about to die. Now the Rebbe said to this Yid, he told him the story of the tshuva Rabbi about to die. In other words, can't help you. Hari Zepol Olav Shiyas tshuva Kolkach. He did such a tshuva. He took out it was the whole problem of the Avedas. You're dragging down the clip of the Shechina into a place that can't be released. But he did. And the child expired. So here we have two examples of Blaza about to die in the story of Alter Rebbe, that there is Shaykh Tshuva, that, and this is before Mashiach, this is pre-Mashiach, pre, still in Golas. So there is the union of Tshuva, that's what is completely beyond limits. However, the Rebbe concludes that this is not the usual Avodah. This is a temporary instruction, literally, that is the exception rather than the rule. A person can't get to this high level of tshuva directly in a moment. First is the whole avodah of tshuva tato, sumiran, asay tov, and an avodah of seichel, and datoira, and midas, avodah satzvila, all of the avodas. So Mizer Gufi concludes, and it's therefore If we're talking about a tshuva that has been till now classically, that has a seder of 4 levels, Tzeischo, etc. That's not the true of tshuva, because there's a seder to it. What's the whole mile of Bali Tshuva, but Tzadikim, about which we say about Tshuva stands in Tzadikim Yehudim Mechilim Lamed. The Tzadik cannot stand there, or the fish Avedis and Tzadikim Akbola. The whole difference is that the Tzadik's Aved is measurable, and it's Akbola, it's limited, and it's predictable. Avedis Tshuva Bligvol, and Tshuva is Bligvol. And if we're talking here about the regular Tshuva that has a Seder, so it's also part of Gevul. Given Shagam B'Tshuva Yesh Seder, it's a big chiddush. Given Shagam B'Tshuva Yesh Seder, Vadraga, since Tshuva also has its order, has its Seder, has a Nichlal B'Chlolos B'Inyan Avedis Tzadikim. It's still part of Avedis Tzadikim. It's not the mile of Bali Tshuva. So the conclusion, however, is, so this answers that question. Yeah, if there was Tshuva by Tzias Mitzrayim, and there's been tshuva ever since. He isn't doing tshuva. It's unlike the tshuva of that Mashiach is going to affect Erev Geula. This is all the tshuva the way it is now. Something that started by Kriyas Yamsuf. But the chiddush of the final generation is Mashiach. Also, the Mashiach will come to return the tzaddikim in tshuva, that even the tzaddik, which means even the Baal tshuva, will do tshuva. Yeah.
He's talking about the tshuva of Erev Mashiach.
I keep on throwing that in. The Maimon doesn't say that.
Right, but
because that's based on just what Rebbe said later, that it all starts now.
Right, and that's like a club in general. I'm saying it's everyone tshuva, the afshav of Kriyas Yamsuf, and this higher level tshuva seems to be after Mashiach.
Well, with Mashiach's coming, it's not after, it's with. Yeah, well, with, yeah. But then I'm adding, I keep on adding, because I just based this is Tov Shem Chafal of the subsequent years. You might say it now also. Everything is going to happen, loss of love, it happens before. And there, as you'll see, the kind of tshuva that is now, you'll see it is this tshuva. This higher level, which it's defined in a moment. We learned already in the previous mind of this. It's the tshuva, it's Yud Kei Vav Kei Mitzad Arotza.
Yeah, so my question is more just on the specific question here. Moishe Afshav, Moishe Kriyas Yamsuf.
Which is contrasting Aveda till Geula and the Aveda of Geula. And we're just adding the caveat, and that starts before. The time Adova. So now what's the reason? What's the chilek between our tshuva, the tshuva of Mashiach, and the tshuva that's been going on from Kriyas Yamsuf, and before that? Adam, kind of hevel. The loss because the tshuva that's going to be lost is not going to be mitzad the mata. That's going to soon address the question. Then what's the point of it? If the Ibish is making the tshuva, so what's the ma'id? We'll see. We say about droga. It's not going to be said about droga. But from above to below, I mean, we see this one. You see it also in person. You see it today. What I'm going to point to is the chsorim, but it's really the ma'ila. The Baal Tshuva of once upon a time was a whole heart-wrenching avodah and a seder and a tikkun. And today a person, you know what, it's not being Shem Shabbos. Why not? It would seem that it is like casual and trivial. You know, I think it's time to start keeping kosher, so she stops buying, starts that, and before they know it, kapot, and how did this happen? I don't know. We just one day, the kids, triviality. The emes as we'll learn in the Maimah. This is the highest shub. This is mitzad the Maila, but it doesn't negate the Maila of the Mata either, as we will see coming in the next Oisius. So it's going to explain, but let's see. So the shub of the. So I think so this brings this. We describe Golos as a dream. And so Golos is waking up. But then there's the Maila. There's the Maila being in the dream. What's the Maila being in the dream? That you go one extreme to the other. It's like It's understood. It's normal. No big kasha. You were here, next second you're there, and the dream goes on. The mile is a person in these last moments of Golas can make a decision. Till now I didn't. Now I'm doing it. That's it. You mean just like that? Yeah. And it's normal. No great a whole seder, vadrogen, years working, inching towards it. It happens in a moment. So it's from above to below. Next page. Meaning, we're not negating. It's not like the Abish is that we're doing so. It's talking lamata l'mayla. The kamalka means that atzma yibader chesus le'leila, but it comes from awakening from above, as I will now explain. Let's continue. So back to the pasuk, to the medrash recorded earlier. Examining it deeper, let's have a look. The medrash said, the pasuk said, this is the Rebbe's capital of that year. Elikim zenachtonu, Abish to you, forsook us, you abandoned, and so on. You were angry with us. Teshreiv evlonu, be restored with us. So the Chayr says Teshreiv b'shnei bezin, Toshav lonu, or Elena. Why are there two bases here? Teshreiv evlonu. So what's the two bases? He's now going to explain. It's not so this capital starts. So the Bnei Korach, the Tshuva to Yidden, the descendants of Korach. Yidden are saying to the Eibush, it's supposed to in Yirmiyah. Hashem says, return away with children. How much longer will you demand this from us? They Yidden are saying to you, the Bnei Korach are like the representatives of Yidden. Shuv atatchila, you return to us first. Shenema shuv Hashem ad Mosai, capital Tzadik, v'inochem, return Hashem. How much longer v'inochem and be comforted, reconciled? V'atoy meloikein, but you're saying though at least rotchila. You're insisting that Yidden, Mishakosem Shuv Yisrael, another pasuk in Isaiah from the Haftarah of Shabbos Shuvah. No, continue Bnei Korach. Loi, ata toshu la'atzmecha, you do tshuva, v'loi onanoshu la'atzmeinu, and not that we should do it ourselves. Elo, sheneinu ke'echad. So they kind of conclude, okay, so we're at an impasse. You say this, we say this, so let's make a compromise, and we'll do it together. We'll hold hands and we'll do it together. Return us. This is this pasuk. In back capital Samach. Shuveinu, return us. So what do we say over here from this medrash? What's the conclusion? You say and we say. Enough of the arguments. Let's do it together. So the one hand is going to be an arousal from above. We're not going to feel that Abish is doing this. It'll come from below. The Shuva will come from below to above. This will have both virtues. What are the two virtues of each way? When the tshuva comes orchestrated from heaven, the mila for that is built in mugbal. What's moving here is the heavenly earth, which is boundless. Therefore, it can happen in an instant. Unlike the Aveda, which is from below to above, that's our measured steps, and each one according to his level. There's a limit, there's an order, and there's a seder. As we said, classic tshuva. First, you have to go tshuva tato, which, by the way, is classic tshuva. Sur miran, I say before a person can start putting on tefillin. First, don't sin. What do we see nowadays with the Rebbe? Again, completely. What's the tshuva? A street corner, a kid approaches a yid. He's about to go into the restaurant, where he came from the restaurant, the Brown Derby. You like to put on tefillin. The whole world was up in arms against this. Maybe he's putting on tefillin. First, he has to stop sinning. No, the Rebbe straight. There's no Seder Vadroga, Tfil.
I don't know if I mean this before, but
Yeah.
the Baal Shuva is what is considered what? Seder Vadroga?
Till Mashiach, the Tshuva. He's contrasting the Tshuva till Mashiach, which has been Beseder Vadroga.
No,
Now,
the Avodah of the Baal Shuva is also the Seder Vadroga?
it's pushing his limits, but yes, Seder Vadroga. Till now, no longer now.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Categorized part of
Yeah, you made the Tshuva Tatot, Tshuva Yilot.
even
Like I'm saying, first Sumira, then I say Toiv. I mean, I forgot it was that told me. He learned in Aish. There's not a Lashon Hara. I'm sure they're proud of this. Learning in Aish Atei Yerushalayim for like 2-3 months before he put on film. In fact, he was told, "You're not ready to put on film yet."
I saw that at Rosameach.
Or Sameach, whatever it was, huh?
Sure, Toronto, I was down there on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
This guy comes in and is learning with the rabbi after davening. And the rabbi said, "Okay, let's sit down. We're going to learn a bit. Don't worry, maybe in a few weeks you can start putting on fill-in or something like that."
Yeah.
Take a shot from where
Okay. The emes is this approach is justified. But it's what's the word? It's the what?
Old school.
Old school. Yeah, so let's continue. Where are we? Yeah. Yes, Mile. So the mile of Tshuva Ilah is that it's boundless when heaven stirs the neshama. Yes, Mile. What's the mile when it comes all from the self? Shamat atzmin is dachir. When you're engaged, there's a real change, there's a real refinement. It's not you being illuminated from above, the illumination is coming from within. So each one is a mile. So these two in Yonim, we separate the two, the Gilim Milamayla and the Birim Milamata are the two in Yonim of Yitzias Mitzrayim and Kriyas Yamsuf. Namely, the B'tzias Mitzrayim, there were two separate times, not simultaneous. That's the point. The B'tzias Mitzrayim, Gilim Milamayla, that's what Dave Shakim took us down. Shanik Aleim Mechvei Devatzim, Dave revealed himself in his glory, not through a Malach and a Sodaf and a Shliach. But there was no refinement then at all. That's what they had to flee. And then Kriyas Yamsuf, which came after what? The first week of refinement of the Midas and the Mesiras Nefesh and by the sea. Kriyas Yamsuf, what Yagilim Mitzad Amata. Shari Zel Achri Shekama Yomim. It was a very quick zichach, so it didn't last that long. But there's a whole week. There's Shekama Yomim Sofras the main midah chesed they purified. They walked into the sea till their nostril. So we're separate. Gilim Milamayla, now Milamata. Avaladayin, it's still a Seder Badrog. Because, one gives way to the other. But last year, based on Milas, as he goes on to explain tomorrow, beautiful Medidiki Gemara. I looked up the Marsha, the Lama Farshim asked what's going on. They have a beer in the mind here. The last year, based on Milas, and last love will be both Milas simultaneously. Who's doing tshuva? Is Abishta making this happen, or are you doing tshuva? The answer is both, as we will continue to live. Huh?
Building of the third It's like the building of the third building.
Yeah, exactly. Who's going to do it? Answer is both.